Good afternoon and welcome viewers to The Polity, your program that gives you daily dose of what is happening around us and also issues of great conversation between you, our viewers, and us here in the studio. My name is OSADEBAMWEN, and today we shall be looking at very interesting issue. Of course, it appeared to have been discussed so much in different platforms, but here we'll be looking at why. So we're talking about the gale of defection that has impacted the opposition party, from which people are moving into the ruling party. However, we are asking, what is the attraction for these politicians who are elected on different platforms? Pay attention. What is that issue that is attracting them? We look at it for those who are going through their second term. What is the attraction for them to move in? And so we are asking that question today. And with me is Mr.
JOHNCHUKS, ONUAYIM, political correspondent with New Telegraph.
Okay, of course, the opinion that he will be sharing here is not of the medium from which is coming. He is here as a journalist, of course, and as a public affairs person who will be sharing his thoughts, which is purely independent from where he represents. And after this, we shall also throw the lines open for you to make your contribution as we look at the issue together and share what we think, so that these politicians will know clearly how we think about them, what we think about them, and why we think so. Because the critical issue is developing the country and not for them to be thinking of self-development. So back to you, my brother. What is the, we have had a lot of defection story recently in the polity, where some governors, some members of House of Representatives, and even senators have moved from one political party to the other. The much that has been happening is most of them are drifting from their opposition party to the ruling party. Why? What do you think is the attraction for them?
Okay, Mr. Patrick, I will use the name Patrick. I won't be able to call your your name properly, so I wouldn't want to murder the names. The issue of defection is not the first time a sitting governor would defect to another political party. But it's worrisome in the sense of this defection, where it's going. Nothing to me, they are not being threatened. For me, they are not being threatened. Rather, I will look at it on a perspective that they want to play at the national party.
How? A governor, a senator, what other play are they playing at the national party?
Okay, fine. Let me put it this way. Okay, you can categorize the defection from maybe 3 sides or 4. One, a first-time governor defecting to APC. Possibly, he is afraid of his second term, knowing or believing that the election, the voters' votes don't count much, that it might be decided by the INEC, which is controlled by the national, the presidency. We have other people who are defecting to APC, who could be as a result of their finishing as a governor. Maybe let me look like somebody like the governor of
Bayelsa
State. Good. He's a second-term governor. By 2007, he's not going to be a governor again. And it's possible he would like to go to the Senate. The person that is occupying that position now, a former governor, Dixon, might not lose the ticket for him in PDP. Therefore, the best place he thinks he can be able to have that ticket is in APC, so he can compete with him come 2027.
Okay, this is talking about governors who likely are from the same senatorial district.
Yes.
From their senators at the National Assembly.
Yeah.
And then because of the fact that you can only have one senator from a particular district and they are in that same office.
That could be the possible reason for the defection of the Bayelsa State government.
Platform. Okay.
The other people also, he might not so necessarily be going to the Senate. He's also probably going to be maybe a minister. That you need to be in the ruling party for you to have a ministerial, to become a ministerial nominee. Otherwise, you will not get it. If you looked at, for instance, Wike, the G5 governors, four of them were second-term governors.
Yes.
The governor of Benue State, Otom, the governor of Abia State, Ipazo, the governor of Rivers State, Wike, and the governor of Enugu State, ONUAYIM. You could look at it today. They are not in the Senate. They are not ministers. The reason being that they were governors of opposition party. Wike was able to get what he got, possibly because of the role he played in the election to assist a party that was not his party to win his state. Possibly got that, and you can see it has helped him. So every second-term governor who is in opposition is thinking, what becomes of me after this position? Should my party not able to win at the national? They weigh the possibility. You see them trying to defect to the party at the national level for the reason that if I cannot go to Senate, I could be appointed as a minister, or I should have a role to play at the national level as a former governor in my party. So that's one of the reasons.
Hold it. Let's just look at these. You've been a governor in your state, which is which is actually the highest political office that anyone in the state can get. And there is no state in this country, except for Bayelsa, there is no state in this country, even Bayelsa, there is no state in this country that is less than a 2 million population. And out of this much, you have enjoyed the grace of God to emerge as a governor. Is that not satisfactory enough, given the fact that the essence, is it not for service that people are seeking political office, that will be struggling to be playing national politics, state politics, and unnecessary relevance in the polity?
Well, I wonder why you think that after serving as a governor, that becomes the end of your political career. That is the highest you can serve in that state.
At the state level.
At the state level. Now you need to move on. A politician think after the governor, either the Senate or the minister or somewhere at the national level. You see, there are governors that are classified GSM. There are some governors classified as GSM. What does that mean? Governor, senator, minister. People like Akpabio and some other governors like that. They've gone through if they have a place to play in the judiciary, they wouldn't mind to go and play that role in the judiciary, to mean that they have gone through the three arms of government.
Does this not negate the notion of service to the people if all that is one's pursuit is just to remain in office? Because you ask all these individuals, what is the level of impact that they have in their respective community in terms of development and societal change?
Well, these are two different things. Two different things here, in the sense that you are talking about a personal interest of somebody. You are talking about collective interest of people.
Shouldn't that guide political
human beings, we are selfish. We are selfish. And the governor will not tell you that is it not affecting the people. His service as a minister of a governor is it not affecting positively the people. His service as senator after governance is it not affecting the people. The governor does not see, or someone who is defecting from his position to another party is not saying that where he is going that is not going to affect the people positively. But take it to be that the defection is of selfish interest. It's not of a national interest. Let me give you, for instance, the governor of Enugu State that just defected to APC. If you look at his governance in the last 2 years, Mba is one of the governors that has been mentioned to have done well. I don't know of any other governor within this except that of also Abia State, who are first-time governors. Now, you ask yourself, why is he going to APC? The implications even going to that APC that is going to reduce his performance. Yes.
How?
Good. He's going to, the governor will monitor it. Before the governor of Akwa Ibom State went to APC, he was much on the news as a performing governor. But today you hardly hear much about Pastor ONUAYIM of him again. Now, the Enugu State governor is going to contribute much to his party, which is a national party. Assuming he was giving 50 million to PDP monthly or whatever to run a party, in APC it might be 200 million because he is running in a national party. In APC is going to be 200 million, and that is also will have effect in the state. It will show. Now his interest himself also will have this confidence that his party will protect him to win election, either performing or not performing. He is not going to look at election from the point of view of the electorate. He is going to look at the election from the point of view that is in the ruling party, that controls all the machinery, the INEC, the police, the DSS, everything. He's going to look at it that they have 25 governors, including the president, that will help them to win election. As we speak today, people still believe that PDP won the Edo State election. However, through national might, it was given to APC, allegedly. Now, if that is true, it means that any governor who wants to come back must make sure he's on they call it mainstream party. So they will not take away your tickets from you.
You mentioned something that is very worrisome, and that is that there is a tendency and a likelihood that these particular governors who have moved from their party to the ruling party may underperform, giving their sense of assurance that they have a national support, as it were, to return back in spite of the will of the electorate. How does that not worry you, looking at the fact that we're having a new chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission who has promised the Nigerian population, particularly the electorate, that their votes will count in the ballot? And now with this view and fear and what they call a point you have raised, do you not think it will erase confidence of the people whose governors have moved off to the ruling party?
Well, let me talk about first. Let me look at the issue of the INEC chairman you mentioned promising. That's a promise. I wouldn't remember any chairman of INEC who never promised of a free fair election. In 2022, in preparation for 2023 election, if you go and look at what the former INEC chairman Mahmoud did say concerning that election, you will now laugh and talking about promise. I remember as a journalist, some places I cover, he sworn that there won't be any way anybody can rig election in Nigeria again. Can we say that's the situation? The promise of it will take, I'm sorry I have to use this, it will take Jesus Christ and Lucifer not to comply with the presidency as INEC chairman not to comply with the presidency wishes on election.
Come again?
It will take maybe Jesus Christ and Lucifer not to comply with the presidency wishes as INEC chairman. If it has to do with individual, I doubt. I sincerely doubt. I sincerely do not think any individual appointed by the president could go against the president.
But we are want to making reference to Mahmoud Jega as chairman under President Jonathan, and then Nigerians do believe that there was a sense of independence with him. Will you say that it does that not negate the belief that no particular chairman can stand on behalf of Nigeria and Nigerian people as against the wishes and caprices of the president?
Well, you are citing Jega as a case study of somebody working against the president. It's also no.
He worked against the president or worked for the Nigerian people?
Well, I don't know, because even the PDP will say they won that election. Yes, you can ask PDP also. They will also tell you that Jonathan won that election. But unfortunately, that the man who was the electoral body presided over by Jega decided to dare him, knowing full well that there was nothing he could do. It's just for him to announce the election. Now, it is not easy, and it was in the person of Jonathan that could happen. I tell you, you will see people, you hear people tell you the present president is not Jonathan. What does that say to you? When people are talking about election and winning election and INEC chairman doing what should be done, people will remind you how Jonathan was weak, how Jonathan was not daring. You hear people make such comments.
Now, let's draw ourselves back to the topic. Here are elected officials moved around their respective constituency, either as members of the House of Representatives or senators in the case of Senator District, or the governor moving around the state, speaking to them and promising them to deliver the goods of democracy to them, which is good service in the healthcare, transportation, in the educational, what they call sector, in the agricultural sector, and the rest of it. And then midway, he jumps off that particular ship from which he had made that promise. Should the electorate trust such a person in the next election bout?
We need to come to terms to say that the electorate have not much to say in the election for now. And the reason why many believing that the Electoral Act should be reformed to make sure that votes count. We were not too far from 2023, and we saw what happened. For whatever reason, nobody can be able to explain the meaning of glitch in the presidential election that held in February 2023. The election that held simultaneously with National Assembly. There was the glitch in one, and there was none in the other. Now, if the electorate counts so much, even the defection that is happening might not happen. Yes, I can tell you that. Assuming they are taking the electorate serious, they won't think about they are going to a national party to win the election. Let me give you an instance. The former governor of Kaduna State did say he was an APC member, but unfortunately, in 2023 election, APC lost the presidential election in the state. Possibly they didn't lose the governorship election. Somebody has also come to say, one Osman on television said that APC lost. Just like you said, APC lost in Enugu State, but it was rigged in the favor of PDP. PDP lost in Enugu State, but it was rigged to make sure they deplete the state's
votes of the
Labour Party. No, Labour
Party.
Yes. So the electorate votes have not started counting the way it should. Not until that time. So if you're in politics, what you're thinking about is not the machinery or the state machinery to help you win election, but you're thinking about the people. Now, with what happened in Enugu, sincerely, I tell you, I give it for free. Should he get the APC ticket, which he will get, he will lose 2027 election.
That's if you say he will lose
2027
election.
Yes.
It means there is a respect, as it were, for the electorates, for the votes of the voters then. That is what it means.
Yeah, I say if it should the votes of the electorate should count, he will lose.
And you don't think it will count?
Well, I don't know now. Most times also, it might count here, it won't count here. It will count here, so it depends. But if it's going to say, because now, I just look at it now, you will ask yourself, will APC want to allow somebody who was in our party and defected to their party to lose election?
Not at all.
So that's why I said, if the vote will actually count, I can tell you 70% sure that Mba will lose the election. The Southeast is not integrated into APC like anybody wants to say.
Now, when we started this conversation, you did mention that one of the major attractions for these elected officials who switched camp, maybe because of the sense of assurance of winning their ticket, particularly those seeking second term. And for those who are already doing their second term as governor, it may just be because they want to have a separate platform. In the case of Bayelsa, where the governor and the senator are from the same senatorial district, and he needed to have a different platform for which he can put up a contest against the incumbent senator. Now, this is all in the realm of assumption anyway. However, if that is the issue, then it may just mean that the electorate are only just there as just a figurehead for which the numbers can be manipulated to get a winner by the ruling party. And so, does it not take us back and forth on the issue of respect for the will of the people, which we have been championing and crying for as a country?
Well, I think we need to do more. If we need the voters' vote to count.
What can we do?
The security agencies need to do more. The judiciary, they need to do more. The electoral body, they need to do more. The problem is not with the electorate.
Because they always go out to express their will.
Good. The problem has been with the institutions that should protect votes. Yes. The police will stay in an election where a political party will be threatening voters, and they will not do anything about it. It happened in 2020, it happened in Lagos, it happened in many places.
Can this be seen as part of the benefits that these persons are running to?
That's what I said. That's for the beginning. That's the whole idea, is that we want to stay in an umbrella that could give us shade. Anyhow, even when we are not qualified. The judiciary, the thing will come to you. The judiciary will not be dispassionate in their ruling about electoral malpractices. It has been everywhere. It's not something that is new. They know it, we know it. You come to the independent, the electoral body, INEC, They know it, we know it. Somebody, I was reading something today, somebody said the 2007 election is already rigged. That they have tested that from the election of Edo State. That, yes, that's what they've used to test on that. So, either two of us, the problem remains about election in Nigeria. It's not necessarily the electorate. The electorate are showing interest, but their interest is not bringing results because of the institutions, the security, the INEC, the judiciary, including the presidency, that could emphasize, insist that this democracy must work. If democracy must work, you should allow the votes of the people to count. This is, some people say selection. I don't know. To a large extent, you look at it, some of us went to vote. We have seen what's happening. As journalists, we participate in election, both coverage and analyzing the election. So I think the electorates don't have much problem in what is the state of election in Nigeria today, in the sense that to say protect your votes. How are they going to protect their votes?
One last question before we go on break and open the lines. Let me ask you this. Just 2 days ago, we had the entirety of the Federal Capital Territory responding to call for justice, the electorate responding to a call for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, and Nigerians trooped out. Whatever part of the country they are Nigerians. Now, if you put this response and this level of emotion and support, how can Nigerians translate this to the ballot and then insist on the conviction that is already expressed in the ballot to manifest? No violence, no aggression, but strongly expressed views. Because if Nigerians were helpless, that number of people coming out wouldn't have come out. The security agencies really did a lot to be able to disrupt that process, but they knew for a fact that Nigerians came out for it. So, looking at this defection and the thinking of the people towards some of these defections, how do you think Nigerians can? Do you think it's impossible for Nigerians to actually make that expression and then stand by it?
Well, when you talk about standing by it, I think the last thing we are asking Nigerians or electorate to do is to march to the streets if they consider the elections, their votes not properly counted. I think that's the last thing we're asking them to do. I remember some persons after 2023 election, they were expecting the presidential candidate of Labour Party in the person of B2B to call Nigerians out. But Toby decided not to go to that. The electorate don't count the votes. There's nothing they could do except to march to the streets. We have seen it happen in some African countries. I think one African country they have to stone the electoral empire, the chairman of INEC, or the electoral empire of that state. That's possibly what we are asking. And by God's grace, we've not got to that. And I don't think it will be nice for us to get that before
we need to do that.
Before we should be able to do what is right. We think before now, it was issue that Nigerians don't come to vote, Nigerians don't do vote. Even the whole lot of votes that were done in 2023, most of them were not counted. Most of the votes were not counted according to research. INEC has not been able to come out properly to state what happened and what didn't happen. However, we still leave out that, but I think the electorate, they've done well, they are doing well to exercise this thing. but the institutions should be able to do well. What you talk about, the people coming out, trooping out to protest for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. If I ask you now, within the people that came out and the police, who won? I don't know how you say it, but I would say police won.
I won't be able to say.
Yeah, police won, because for them to have arrested some persons, you ask yourself, what were the reasons? Why would they arrest people who came? Did they destroy anything? No. Did they instigate violence? No. You just pick them because they are part of a protest.
Okay, so let's well, I just said we allowed before we go on break, but again, let's take this one. Now, we're not here to have a sense of gloom and think that, oh, we're giving up on the political space. Before we open the lines, can you charge the Nigerian people on the right measure they can adopt to ensure that the votes that they express in the ballot count without necessarily constituting any nuisance, whether violent or aggression of any kind, but stand by the vote that they have expressed to make? What do you think would be the best measure to be taken so that you can checkmate this jumping around which does not satisfy the people? As a citizen,
I want to say our civil society is no more working. The professional bodies, they are not working. The NBA, the Nigerian Medical Association, the Nigerian Society of Engineers, all these professional bodies who will clamor that things are not going well should add their voices into having a free and fair election. They should be one to engineer to be talking about electoral reform that will give Nigerians the kind of election they want. The ASU, they should add their voices into having a free and fair election. They shouldn't just sit down to talk about services in the university welfare. No, those things can only
all connected to the
votes. So all professional bodies should take it as a duty to speak against rigging, to make sure we have a system that will provide for us a good election. Then that's where their problem can be solved. So that's why I think it's not for the electorate, because the only thing that is left for electorate to do is to march to the street against rigging election, which you know the consequences.
Yeah, of course, that is not an option at all in an electoral process for the people to march out to the street and demanding for a particular candidate, or they let the vote that is expressed by the electorate speak. We have gotten to a point where we need to go on a break now, but when we come back, be certain that we're going to throw the lines open and you will join us as we discuss the Gale of Defection here on the POLITY in Kaftan TV, where in our beautiful imagination we're looking towards a beautiful world where we can all have a good experience. I can assure you that when we return, we'll be discussing with you, joining the conversation and sharing with us what you think should be the best measure to ensure that these persons who jump ship, these governors, these House of Reps members or senators who jump ship from one political party to the other, in this particular case, more from the opposition to the ruling party, what is the stake that they have seen there? What is that issue of interest that is taking them there? So we'll be discussing this after the break. Thank you. Welcome back, viewers. We're back to the POLITY here at Kaftan TV, where we're discussing the Gale of Defection and what stake is it for those who are defecting. Here with me is a journalist experienced on the beat, on the political beat, and have a deep understanding of the issues, looking at the stake. But right now we're throwing the lines open so you can join us in the conversation. I am OSARETIN, Please let your calls start coming in as we look at what stake it is that these defectors are going for, when in fact they are considered to have been performing in their respective state, like the case of the Enugu State Governor, whom many believed is not a disappointment to the electorate, who voted him into power. They have seen his actions and contributions to the development of that state, which is under his watch. However, the news of him moving from the PDP to the ruling All Progressive Party and making his one of his excuses to say they want to be in the mainstream and make sure that the state benefit, or it should benefit from the what do you call it, the national, the center actually is indeed curious, knowing that before now the state has been having that kind of benefit, as it were, through him. So what is this new benefit? Is it for him, or is it for the state, or for him that has made the attraction? You know, and for a second-term governor, what is the attraction? You have served at the level of a governor, which is the highest office in your state. It is expected that you would have be looking at how you can influence younger politicians to make impact in your environment. But again, the move, which many have thought is impossible, have been made following the resignation of the governor from the People's Democratic Party. Now we are looking at what is the stake that these persons have. And here with me, like I said earlier, is a veteran, very experienced journalist in the person of JOHNCHUKS ONUAYIM, who is sharing his thought with us. So the lines are open. We are expecting your calls. Before the first call come in, we're looking at the implication of such movement of these politicians. Has there been any of such movement that we can identify that has really changed the lifestyle or the quality of life of the people in their respective in their area? Is there any that you can recall?
Mr. Patrick, I can't recall any defection one could say that brought federal presence to that state. I remember for instance, Imo State has been in APC since 2015. Even before 2015, that Governor JOHNCHUKS under Abga shifted and moved to them, and since that he has been there. We should even ask ourselves, which of the state of national that is even doing better to the other states that's in opposition? Let us situate it properly now to say, oh, this is an APC state. This advantage that's accruing to them. They all go to FAC and they share what is provided for in the Constitution.
This is on the revenue sharing to their states.
That's what I'm saying. They go to what's the federal presence. The federal presence by Constitution. If there should be a federal road that passes through your state, the government should attend to it. Federal schools. Now, once in a while, it's only appointments. Let me put it that way. Only appointments. I was reading somewhere, okay, for instance, the governor, the party state chairman of APC in Cross River State, declaring that there is no presence of federal government in the Cross River State in terms of appointment. Are you getting?
And it's an APC.
It's an APC. So I don't see much advantage they have above each other. At times it becomes a disadvantage. It's just a fear of losing election. It's a fear for those who are first-time governors of losing their second term. They wouldn't know what will happen at the national level. For those who are second-term governors, of what do I do next after this state if my party is not at the national level? I need to be a minister. I need to go to the Senate. I need to be something. Therefore, I have to join the ruling party at the national level. Let us look at the states. We have Kogi here, we have Niger, we have other states. Let's look at them, compare them to what Enugu State was when the man was in PDP and what he did compared to Abia State.
Abia State, yeah.
Are you getting what I'm saying? Even to the extent of what they call it, Anambra. It's not about that you are in APC or IC. They give you much money, which does not transcend to anything.
Well, is there an extra money that is given to you because you have?
They claim that there's such thing. I don't know. Maybe unknown. They say that
I recall very well that even during the, may so rest in peace, the former president, President Muhammadu Buhari,
okay.
When he was in power, there was the story of the 13% derivation, or there was this extra fund that he made available to the oil producing state, which was what I think what's his name, Wike used to perform very well in his state. And he was saying that he invested more of it in the project while other states were not. It was part of the campaign for the what's it called, PDP. For the APC at a point that even the opposition party was benefiting what was legally accrued to it. Can the president stop what is legally accrued to a state under this dispensation?
You know. The former vice president.
The late president followed what was supposed to be done.
The former vice president once said, the person of Atiku Abubakar, that Nigerian president is the most powerful president in the world.
And in such power, can he afford such rascality?
That's, of course, you could see it everywhere. You could see it everywhere. That's the problem we are having. The inability for us to obey the rules and the laws is why everybody behaves. There is an extent the Mr. President has, yes, he's the Mr. President, but he has something guiding him, which is his constitution. But the point here now, are they working within the constitution, or they just do it the way they feel? Let me give you a instance. I think the constitution provides that Nigeria should have ambassadors to states, to countries. 2 years after those were called back, we have not sent ambassadors. It is at the discretion of the president. If he likes, he will do it. It doesn't matter if the constitution says so, it's irrelevant. There are so many things that the constitution has provided for. Unfortunately, the systems are not allowing those things to be operational. Therefore, all this, even the revenue you are talking about, some people cite that Obasanjo withheld the revenue of Lagos State at a point, blah, blah,
well,
blah.
he had a reason because he said, he had a reason for that.
He had a reason, but some people, they don't want to believe that reason.
He said that development areas were created outside the constitution and they cannot be given the money that is constitutionally deserving of the existing local government.
Yeah.
That was his reason.
Of course, but some persons will tell you that it was even wrong for him to have done that in the first place.
But that wasn't the time where money was paid directly to local government. Because you have to send to state government and they now joint account before they now share. So he was careful for that.
Is the money paid to local government now?
We've gotten the autonomy.
They have it's in paper. These are some of the issues. And some people believe also that they will not put that, I think, Supreme Court ruling into operational because they are trying to cut, all I call it, the governors, trying to make friendly with the governors. That's why they are not bringing that Supreme Court ruling into existence. That local government money should go directly to local governments.
That is the best. That is where the local government chapter.
Who will implement that?
Can now have
the national. But the national is looking for something from the governors.
Is it the governor who is looking for something from the nation, or the nation is looking for something from the governor?
It's the other way, because also the national believes that the governors will help them to win election in their states. Yes. So they want to play somehow to say, let us play with the governors so that they will not jeopardize our interests.
So let's look at our topic again. What is the stake for the defectors? Now we're muting that there is a possibility that the governors, that the states, that the national will also be beholding to the governors at that time of the election.
Yeah.
If a governor truly performs in a manner that excites his people and has his people by him, can he or she be removed by any other act other than the electorate?
We have gone through this before, and we repeat that the electorate, by virtue of what democracy should be, the answer should be no.
Okay.
But unfortunately, in this country, let me not use clan, don't say in African clan, or in this country, the electorate votes have not counted much in elections, and it's getting worse on daily basis. The institutions are the one making. That's why I say you vote. Do you announce the results? No. You don't.
Does.
Huh?
INEC does.
So INEC is under who? Under the presidency. When they say Independent National Electoral Commission, people have tried to say, can we review the appointment of the INEC chairman? It was here that came close to it, that set up a committee led by the former Justice of the Federation, Uwese. The result report is there. Jonathan could not implement it. Every president is afraid to lose election. What they use, it will use state might and state institutions and whatever. Otherwise, if the electorate vote will count, you won't have people doing 8 years. You won't have people doing 8 years. I tell you, if the votes are counted, before you see a governor that will have 8 years, out of 36, it might be only 2 that will come back if the votes are counted.
You think if the votes are counted, the governors will not perform very well to earn a second term?
Well, at that point, we'll judge their performance.
Based on the revenue available to them and the level of innovation deployed.
If a governor should have performed like 70%, he might fail his second term. Because people are saying that he should have performed like 80%, 90%. If votes count, I tell you, not up to, let me say, 20% of governors will have a second term, including the Senate. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Including the Senate. It will be easier for the president to lose second, including the president. With what is happening, I will tell you that before you see somebody that could have second term in terms of position,
reflection of the votes.
Yeah, it will be difficult. It will be difficult. But because they don't count, that's why they do it the way everybody. A governor is not interested of performance, he's interested, how do I have to get to INEC chairman? How do I have to get to the Inspector General of the Police? How do I have to get to the DG of DSS? How do I have to get to the judiciary? Should I get to the court? The court should also to defend me. Assuming I've rigged the election and I'm going to the court should also be part of those. That's the kind of election we have. Not people, the wishes of the people being established.
Speaking earlier, you talked about the civil society and how they should have made themselves very, very relevant by living up to the expectation of the public on them. You talk about the unions, the ASU and all other unions who lament on daily basis how that the policies of government is not in any way advancing their processes for effective teaching and learning. The same with the Medical Association of Nigeria, where they find themselves in condition they describe to be very friendly to carry out their functions as health officers for the people. And now, this group, what are the expected role you think they should play such that their role, their contribution can be seen to be very positive in impacting on the electoral process, such that it will promote reflection of the will of the Nigerian electorate at the poll?
Well, thank you. I don't think it's even limited to
the civil
society or the professional bodies. I mentioned ASU, I mentioned NBA, I mentioned
the unions,
I mentioned Nigerian School of Engineers, Nigerian School of Architecture, Nigerian, all of this, including the churches and the mosque, CAN, PFN, MORIG, and all.
NCION.
They should be able to present a paper, a position paper to National Assembly on the kind of INEC, on the kind of electoral reform they expect. And when there is going to be a public hearing, they should go there. They are Nigerians. All these bodies, not ordinary common person that is somewhere. No, every organization, every institution, every professional body, they should be able to also should come together in their meeting, take a position of the kind of electoral reform they want to see, and they present a position paper to National Assembly on that. CAN should do the same thing. MORIG should do the same thing. NMA should do the same thing. It is our having an electoral process that can bring in people who are voted at the poll that will engineer good governance. You can't have good governance from people who are not voted at the poll, and they know they are not voted, and you expect good governance from them. No, it's not going to be possible. People should merit their position through the electorate. And the only thing I think is we should stop thinking about after the election, we say we start crying. Every person, every professional body, even any reality, anybody who desires a good electoral system in Nigeria should be able to act in his voice to bring about that system by giving a position. If you can, should come and say, we want this kind of election. Let us collectively, they said, if you collectively unite, it will bring form. Let Nigerians collectively decide the kind of electoral system, the kind of election they should have, the kind of those who hope that they should have. If to mean that the person that is even going to be the next chairman must be voted for. So we need to be sincere with the democracy we want to practice. We need to be sincere. Otherwise, we'll be going round the corner, down the circle. We need to be sincere. It is not something that is impossible. It is not impossible to have a free and fair election. In fact, it's the simplest thing.
Just simply allowing what has come in to come out.
That's all.
And it will cost less.
Good.
To do that.
Good. It will cost less. Very less. Yes, very less. There will be all this budgeting of INEC, this thing, INEC want this one, the presidency will give to INEC, INEC want that one. What I did, it's just because, okay, you let them not say, we didn't do this one. It will cost less to have a free and fair election. I'm telling you. We have talked about here, and a system that can make you stay in your house and you do your voting without going to kill for anybody, without anybody trying to molest you. If you don't vote this side, I'm going to do it. If I'm in my house and I have my phone, have my data, an election that just open and vote, will anybody come to challenge me? Whom do you vote for? Is that not practicable? So we need that system. All the time they are giving us excuses. We are not technologically advanced to do this, do that. It's not true.
No, look, do you think that is very possible when we decide to fall back on people? Because there has been these stories that when Nigerians allow people to use their phones, the ATM machines or card to vote individuals of their choice for the different political office as a means to have the popular a candidate emerging from the will of the people as a measure to checkmate this jumping up and down by politicians. They said it will be guaranteed, but we have had several cases of these young men who are hacking phones, hacking numbers on WhatsApp, using it to make calls. Do you not fear that we do not have the infrastructure for that kind of experiment to be relied on for an issue as sensitive as the election of a presidential candidate or a governorship in a state, or even that of the House of Representatives at the federal and state level? Don't you think it is something we are not yet ripe for?
What is it? What technology is Nigeria not ripe for now? I can't understand. Use your phone to transfer money. They hack your phone. They hack phones. Are we not still using it to transfer money? We still do.
But don't you think that happens like we have with the glitch issue that we're told
the
in
glitch
2023?
Good enough to say we are told. It's a manufactured thing for me. I might be wrong, but for me it's a manufactured thing. Now, we could have two options. You have the phone, you can go to the polling units. Which one that is convenient for you? So at least the educated, illiterate can use the phone. Even if I want to use my phone, I find it's not working, I'll go to the polling unit and cast my vote. But if it's working, I do it here. Now, these two options can be too difficult for us to operate. You can vote through your phone. What it means during election, I might not even, as if my polling unit is near Abuja here, I might be somewhere in Umuahia, and I'll cast my vote, and it will count. It's a one touch. Once you open the platform, the candidate will be there. You just click on the candidate. Once you click, it will go. These things are doable. It's the insincerity in us that is making it look as if they are just
impossible to do.
They are simply doable and can be achieved very easily. Very easily. So we need to collectively add our voices together to say we want an electoral system that is devoid of rigging. We talk to the police, even the police also, the army, everybody should add their voice to say, just imagine a military person who has defended election rigging. Tomorrow, he has retired. He wants to join politics. And he will claim against rigging against him. How do you justify that?
So it means the desire for a credible election is one that everybody has at heart. And that, of course, will empower the electorate to be able to checkmate the excesses of their politicians who are drifting. But again, this is really troubling. With the example you just cited, after wearing a uniform to protect election rigging, and then you come to the political space and seeking a political office, an elective office, and then the same thing you protected years ago is now being used against you, and you say no, this is not it. So you have to look for everyone.
So the man in the last election, the former chief of air staff, contested the governorship in Kaduna in Bauchi State. I think Sadiq.
Yes, Sadiq.
I think he has gone to this now. He was the candidate of APC in that state, and he lost. Along now, a retired IG from Nasarawa State is joining the governorship race in that state. The important thing one is saying is that we all must collectively condemn what is not right. We all collectively should speak for what should be right to be done. You are wearing the uniform today, you will not wear it tomorrow. The police, the army, the whatever. If it's not, you could be your brother. And you want to let us understand you are a former retired general. It doesn't hold water. So, every person must be concerned that for this democracy to endure, for the democracy to work, we must have a free and fair election. That is the truth.
Now, do you see the possibility of Nigeria escaping this melee of people moving from one party to the other? Do you see anything curious about when a governor is moving, every other or a large portion of members of that party follow him? Do you not think it is curious that this is happening?
Well, what is curious about it is that everybody is looking for one thing or the other. If you know that the governor is moving, that he's going to lose the election, you might not follow him.
All right.
You follow because, okay, you want to be part of the largesse. You want to be part of the cake. That's why some people are following. And if I'm a commissioner and the governor is moving to an election to a party, I think might not be able to sustain his victory. I decide not to follow him when I know that the electorate will decide who wins and who does not win. And I look at it that the party is going, no matter what happens at the national level, I can't guarantee that he can win
election.
I will decide to resign my commissioner position if he doesn't want to retain me, and retain my party that I know that the people have accepted. And should anybody come under that party, that the person will win. It is not about this individual thing. No. Most times it's not about individual thing. Party in some places form a factor to it.
Like
look, let's also use the back.
Okay.
Even though it's been alleged that the election he didn't win it, but because PDP has been in existence in that state for a very long time, it could be taken that PDP won. The only person whose political trajectory has shown that an individual and not party matters is Obi.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only person that has shown that a candidate is being considered above the party. And it reflected also.
You can see the impact of that level of consideration and support, the impact it has had on the party. Yeah. Because right now the parties appear not to be fully whole to be able to field any candidate ahead of 2027, except if those changes take place.
It reflected in that election. The candidates of all the Labour Party candidates benefited from that candidature of P2B. They could have benefited more than what they did if elections were free and fair. Yes, they could have benefited more. It produced a senator in Abia State, House of Rep members, other places. In Anambra, 2 senators, Senator Way and Senator Victor May, came under that Labour Party in that state, and so many other places like that. If the election were free and fair, Labour Party would have made so much impact in 2023 election, more than PDP. That they will have come second, if not first.
Let us not make it look as if we are still crying over spilled milk. Given the time that has come and gone. But again, I'm looking at this defection. A governor moves, where 2 or 3 commissioners say they are not moving. Is it wrong for them to remain in that cabinet?
Well, they didn't appoint themselves. The appointment of a governor is at the discretion of the governor.
Where they are performing,
perform or not perform.
Should the people not insist that they should remain there?
No. You can't insist. It is the president that appoints the ministers and not the people. They should know the extent of power. The only thing that when you appoint, you will send to the state assembly or national assembly for screening and clearing. It is the president who decides those to appoint. There is no law that says that the ministerial appointment should be by voting, or should be by this, or should be by this. The only thing law that says, for instance, at the national level, that a minister must come from every state. Each state must produce a minister.
Oh, you know why I ask this question? We have in the federal cabinet a PDP person, but let's just be specific. Yeah. The FCT minister is PDP.
Yeah.
He still flies the flag of the party.
Yeah.
And he's working with the president, who is an APC presidential president. And then he's also seen to be effective as far as the APC is concerned and the president. And the president allowed him. Yeah. So if in states, you see what your stake is as a governor and you defect, and then among your cabinet members or other appointees, they see no reason to join you because they are convinced that where they are is okay and it is tandem with the wishes and interests of the populace, and they want to stay back. Should that be an issue for a governor whose major drive should be excellence, performance, and success in office?
Well, he can also tell you he can get somebody who can perform. Like I said earlier, the appointments of commissioners or ministers is at the discretion of the governor or the president. The minister you just mentioned today, if the president wakes up tomorrow, assuming he's the most performing minister in the whole world, and he wakes up to us and say, I don't want him again, he will drop him. He picked him. He can drop him. The same thing in states. The governors assemble their commissioners. And if a governor defects to another party, as a commissioner, you are not following him, he considers you as a threat. Not many people have a large heart to say, you are doing a good job. I have no rights over your choice of political party or political affiliation. The important thing is the job you are doing for the state, not everybody. So, and there is no law that protects the commissioner to stay as a commissioner if he's not joining the party. It's a collective thing. It's a party thing. And once you enter into a party, the party members will feel that they should share from the largesse in that. They will remind you, in my state, Abia State, the governor was reminded that the money that he's using to work is coming from the federal government, as if that he was not entitled to it. Money given to the state government constitutionally. And you are making reference to that the money is coming from federal. Is it a gift? We need to, and these are lawmakers. These are people that should know, that ought to know that this thing are statutory something. They are statutory something. If the federal government has made much money, the states should be able to have their share. It is stated there how money should be shared. This is not so. When a lawmaker is telling a state governor that the money you are using is coming from my party, from the state, you get to worry.
I think we need to actually hammer on this issue where people are beginning to think that running the state is like running an association. revenue generated is of course belonging to the federal government, and the federal government now shares to the respective state. Why should anybody begin to think that it is coming because a particular party is in power, and that is why you must all defer to that political party? Which brings us back to the issue of the importance of the electorate in all of these decisions, and the seeming handicapped situation that the electorates have found themselves by virtue of these various political moves, which does not at all fall in line or align with the expected standard in boosting development across the state. For the sake of emphasis and tying it to the powers of the electorate in the political system as ours, should any occupant of an office jitter for any reason when such comments are appearing threatening be taken serious by him or her? Should that political office occupant be should he jitter at all when such kind of comments are made?
Well, it depends on the occupants of the office.
And it's not the law.
Our democracy is tailored like a kind of military rule. We deceive ourselves. We deceive ourselves. When you can't, as a governor, you can't criticize the president. They'll come after you. They will tell you that you're going to lose the election, as if the president is going to vote in that election in that state. It's tailored. It's just a little different from a military rule. A little. The Nigerian kind of democratic governance today is just a little different from democratic military government, because you see it. Most of the states, those who occupied governorship there, are those being influenced by the president or the party in power to occupy those positions. So, if someone is threatening a sitting governor that the money you are spending is coming from my party at the national level, to me, it doesn't make much sense. These are statutory issues. The fact that he's even using it well
should be a thing of pride.
And not to remind him that if he was not given, he will have something to be talking about.
So now the complaint is that he's performing. Yes. Why is he performing?
So he wasn't given. He got what is statutorily provided for by the Constitution.
Like others before him had gotten. So, and like those after him will get.
And like other states also
are getting.
So I should not make reference to that you should give somebody a flower. You should give somebody a flower. I don't get it. Give somebody a flower.
Now let's look at the respective states and how the electorate can be encouraged to put their governors to task. Recently, we had the president even saying that the presidency saying that the electorates, the people, should hold their respective governors over the issue of financial development and funding in their respective state. Do you think that possibly may have caused jitter among these governors who are running to the APC?
I don't think so. There is nothing anybody should. Naturally, that's how it should be. Naturally, the people should hold their governors, the local governments, and accountable for development.
The statement is not wrong in your view.
It's not wrong. But unfortunately also, very unfortunate, and that's why we talk about restructuring. If you are holding a governor accountable, the governor should be able to have a high level of independence in terms of even finance, in terms of security, in terms of so many things. A governor does not control, for instance, assuming there is a security problem in a state, you know the governor does not control the commissioner of police. Yeah, he has no authority over the commissioner of police. At times even also, the commissioner of police might want to cause problem for the governor of a state. It happened during Rotimi Amechi as a governor of Rivers State, where he was having problem with I think was the commissioner of AIG then? Mbu?
Yes, Mbu.
Mbu? So they could also use the federal. That's why they see them trying to veto to the federal government in all they do. So you cannot sincerely say that the people should hold their blah blah accountable. He doesn't have much power on his own to do so many things.
Such a development suggests, does it not suggest very, very weak presidential system and institutional standing where these kind of things happen?
That is given. It's obvious. The people that were said the kind of presidential government we practice is not the same with where we've copied from. We copied wrongly. Yeah, because people that once advocated for restructuring, when they get to power, they will forget such thing. They will not speak in that line again, that the state should be made to be autonomous to the federal, should be able to exercise their rights and not to lean to the federal. Unfortunately, you won't hear them say that again. However, like I said, we all must collectively, I'm charging the CAN, PFN, let them, they are Nigerians. They are Nigerians. They should add their voices, even if they're not going to play the politics. They should add their voices or the voices of the association, their union, whatever, to good governance by presenting a position paper to the National Assembly suggesting the kind of electoral system that can work and work well. At least let us all collectively to do that. To say, look, put this in place, if we do this and do this, we can get it right. Let us do that. It's only by that that things can work. So it's not about the issue of leaving it for one person, leaving it for the, and let me go and vote, and let them do it the way they want to do it. No, we all must do it, including NUJ. Yes, I have not even mentioned my own
constituency.
Yes. NUJ, to bring a position paper to the National Assembly to say, this is what we think will assist a free and fair election in Nigeria. Articulate it, publish it, let people see it. Then let us see if National Assembly is going to say that no, those things are not right. I just read Wole Olanikwekun recently saying the National Assembly should stop amendment of Constitution, that it's not going anywhere, and call for a referendum. That's the position, and which is true. If you look at number of years,
yes,
every year or every
assembly,
more than $1 billion is budgeted for constitutional amendments. You ask yourself, which area of the constitution has been amended to get in? Nothing. The constitution is still what it's about. Every time they are sitting, they are having public hearing, they are doing this thing. We need to be sincere to take this country from where it is to where it should be. The insincerity is one major factor that is affecting this country. Once you're in position, if you are not in the position, you seem to be sincere. Once you're in position, you forget those things you are saying. Maybe as I'm here now speaking this way, maybe if I get there, I'll be speaking a different thing. Only God knows, but I pray that should be my case. I should maintain my honesty.
Thank you very much, Mr. JOHNCHUKS. But again, in 2 sentences, what would be your charge to the elected officials in 2 sentences? Because our time is up. What would be your charge to in 2 sentences to these elected officials who jump from ship to ship, and also to the electorate what they think is the right thing to do?
My charge to the elected officials who in position is to know that that office is not for eternity and can never be for eternity. Therefore, do something you will be remembered for positively. Although you can prefer to be negative, but ordinary to be positive. So that's why I will charge them. Because when you live there, you start coming to say some certain things, some of the time singing different tunes. You are making yourself irrelevant. To the electorate, they should keep faith. Keep faith. Keep faith. Let them go and vote. Anytime there is election, let them vote convincingly their conscience. This issue of collecting money to vote, it makes stupid of the whole thing. If you bring money, you can collect money. At the age I am, someone should say, come and let me give you an example. In 2023, I was giving money to go to somewhere to cover presidential election. But I refused because I felt I needed to vote my conscience in that presidential election. So the electorate should keep faith that it will be well on the and continue to press with their votes.
Thank you very much, our analyst for today, JOHNCHUKS ONUAYIM, who has joined us in discussing the Gale of defection and what stake it is for those who are defecting. What is the stake for the defectors? We have spent the last 90 minutes looking at this issue and seeing how we can connect them to the various happenings within our polity. We've come to the end of today's day politics, and we are asking you to join us tomorrow, surely, for another session of this interesting conversation. My name is OSADEBAMWEN, and it is a goodbye from here. But then we also must commend those who are behind the scene, who are making a whole success of this whole session. Favor is there at the MCR, and controlling and guiding me through this session is Mr. Joseph, as well as the other members of the team. Thumbs up for you guys. Thank you very much, and goodbye from here.